You have created a monster and it will destroy you.
She's alive! Alive!
I am Dracula.
Welcome, Manorites, for another episode of Monster Manor. And this is our official kickoff promoting Fantasm Orlando. We're going to be in Fantasm this September, so check out phantasmofficial.com for all the details. But tonight, our first guest that's going to be appearing at Fantasm is my new best buddy, Rob Mello. So let's welcome Rob to the show. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing well, my man. How about
Excellent.
you? Oh, there we go. All right.
Excellent. Well, we're excited. We had the privilege of talking a couple of times, and I just love you, man. I'm so glad that you're on our show and everything. Yeah.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah. So I know everyone is going to know you from the Happy Death Day series. But I warned you, we're a different kind of show. We like to go back and find out what brings you there, what brought you there. So did you have any idea when you were growing up that you were going to be an actor and be known as this this baby face killer?
No. 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 I hoped to be, well, Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers. I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher.
Really?
Aww.
That is awesome.
Me and kids, I don't know, I can't explain it, but me and kids just, we understand each other. For instance, last night where I live in rural ass Indiana, and we had some severe storms. And so my love was like, dude, I need breakfast. So I'm like, all right, let's roll out and, we'll go to like Bob Evans or Waffle House or whatever. Ended up at this place, ridiculously beautiful place. I forget the name of it. But it's Greek for grandma. And it's in Greenwood, Indiana. But there was kiddos like running around because nobody had power.
Yeah.
So everybody wanted breakfast. And there were kiddos scattered throughout the place. And the place was magnificent. I mean, there was Tiffany lamps and all sorts of stuff, but there was this little girl behind us who, the knife, fork, spoon setup thing.
Yeah.
The wraps. And she snatched her dad's, and he fucking immediately went boom and snatched it back. And I was like, yeah, that's my kind of kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what's this? Ooh. But I the curiosity of children is very akin to the curiosity and the spirit, lack of a better term, of a creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, especially that kind of whimsy that children possess, a lot of adults grow out of it. And as an actor, it's all pretend. And that kids have mastered,
It's not pretend, though. It's not. For instance, sorry. Get this fucking thing off. Sorry. There was an actor who's of Jewish descent, and while he was in college, he and his mates were doing kind of a fight club
Mm-hmm.
of who in history would you like to play, and he said, I'd like to play that fellow. I don't know if I can say it.
Yeah, no, we get you.
Yeah.
But that fellow, you know the one I'm talking about.
Yes.
And everybody was aghast and agog, and they were like, "What? He was a demon. He was the devil incarnate, and he was this, that, and the other thing." And he's like, "No, dude, that guy was a man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a man. Everything that he thought and did, so can I. So I want to know how I want to know how evil I can be, so that the portrayal is. I'm sorry. So that the portrayal is real,
Yeah,
and believable, and because everything that was in him to do such evil shit is also in me, because I'm simply human.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the horrible thing about people.
Yeah.
People can be good though.
That's what I focus on. Try to focus on the good, because sometimes, especially in media, all you see is the negative, and it can bring you down.
Yeah, definitely. The same with me. I get in funks myself, and I, like, for instance, the scenes in Meet Joe Black,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of my favorite films. And I really think that Brad Pitt's skills as an actor are ridiculously underrated, just because he's so goddamn pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Even still, he's old as fuck, but he's so goddamn beautiful. But when he started speaking Patois, it just, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still like, even like last night, I was Wambi Irie, Wambi. You know what I mean? There's a way to speak it correctly, and you want to speak it correctly, especially if you're speaking a dialect that isn't what your visage is,
Mm-hmm. Mm. So does that, like, when you do the roles that you do, where do you pull from that inspiration? Is it from any one particular thing, or do you kind of just have this actor's bag of tricks that you pull from? Because I have noticed you do a lot of different varied characters. It's not like you're always typecast into one. Particularly, we can talk about this one because it's a perfect segue from the children's, that you have, such a cool kinship with kids. Embalmers, that featured very prominently. What was she, like, maybe 9 years old?
Ish. Yeah.
Ish.
Johnny.
And phenomenal actor. Whoever she was, picked well, because she was phenomenal.
Well, her name Johnny Shandor.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a phenomenal creative. And actually, I was on a panel with her, and one of the I don't know, the audience asked, what advice would you give to a fellow creative? And I was like, I wouldn't give any advice to the creative. I would give advice to the person, the parent, the, you know what I mean? The person that has the control over the creative until that creative is a grown ass adult. Because it's just so easy to stomp out a creative's desires, a creative's abilities. The abilities are out. Let me correct. The abilities are always going to be there, but the desire and the heart, you've got to foster that.
Yeah.
As the curator of the creative, you've got to recognize what you have in front of you, and whether that creative came from you or not, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
That person is before you, and you've got to not stomp that out. And when I was living in Alabama, we had I was going to college, and a lot of single moms I went to school with, and a lot of single moms my wife worked with. And I saw in the newspaper that there was an art class, and it was $300 per month. And I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Ooh, sorry. That's crazy, because I can teach the exact same thing, if not better, for free. So that's what I did. I told all the moms that I went to school with, and told all the moms that my wife worked with, to come to the house, drop their kids off for a couple hours on Saturday, when everybody was out of school and out of work, and I just teach you kiddos art. That's it.
Yeah.
And within like 3 weeks, a lot of the moms wanted to start hanging out, and I'm like, that's fucking weird. Why? I'm not, I understand I'm a guy. I look the way I look. I understand, being apprehensive. But why? Well, my kid, who was formerly real, mousy, and I don't know, is now standing with their shoulders back and chin up, and a voice of confidence. Mom, I'm an artist. I have things to do, and would go about doing their things. So they wanted to know what the fuck is going on. So I'm just like, okay. So I had a really long table, and on one side I had all the kiddos, and on the other I had all the parents.
Yeah.
And I gave everybody a little slip of paper, like a Post-it note, and a little pencil. I was like, okay, everybody has 5 seconds to draw me a bird. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. Put your pencils down. Everybody did. I snatched everybody's shit up. And on the kiddos' side, there were feet, the beginnings of feet. There were the beginnings of beaks and wings, things that are birds, right?
Yeah.
On the adult side, they did this. They did the W, they did the V, symbol of a bird, not a fucking bird. It's representational art. And I told them, and I showed them. They each did the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Adults and kids. And I showed them, and I was like, this is why you have to keep letting your kids come here.
Yeah.
Because somewhere along the line, somebody crushed the creativity out of you.
Yeah. Well, that happens for sure. And nowadays, especially, the schools aren't supported for the arts for the most part, at least the schools
Nope.
in the majority of the areas, especially the inner city.
Yeah. Which
So
is
it
sad.
is harder for kids to find that creative outlet. I think that's the problem with a lot of youth today. And not to sound like an old man or anything, but I am. When you don't have an outlet for that creativity, it squashes. And then people are telling us all the time, grow up, do this, do that. I got to hang on to my inner child. It's
Sensible shoes.
What's that?
Sensible shoes.
Sensible shoes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Which in reality, the socks are the most important. I don't care who you are.
Fuck
But
that.
it's really hard to hold on to your inner Peter Pan nowadays and remain that child and be able to see what others they don't anymore.
Yeah.
So how do you do that in your own personal life? How do you hang on to that inner child?
It's been rough as of late. I'm working through some things, addictions, things like that. And, well, I was in the Marines, so I realized my mortality a lot earlier than most people do. I reconciled with it. I'm going to fucking die. I get that. The method, that's kind of what I'm willy-nilly about. I'm like, am I gonna, get or crash into a tree or, what's the method? But, the actual thing, I'm all right with that because I know we all do it.
Yeah.
But what we do while we're here and who we affect indicates immortality. And that's, I think, the point of creativity. I mean, look outside Man's Chinese Theater. There's fucking Buster Keaton's feet, who's been dead for 100 years, something like that. So, you know what I mean? And eventually, those same slabs of concrete are gonna go bye-bye. So, you know what I mean? It's the search for meaning and the search for immortality, but right now,
that's the legacy.
the best I can do is to affect my children, the people that I love, the people that I can love, and to experience this fucking place.
Yeah.
At my best, at my most heathenistic, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love food, women, and booze, and cigarettes. But, you know what I mean? It is just experience this place for everything you can while you can.
Yeah.
And fuck, we'll deal with the next one when we get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cross that bridge.
And you realize, though, the cool thing about what any creative does, creatives, and I'm putting actors, artists, architects, things like that, it's the arts that endure. Nobody thinks about the taxes that were done in 1903 or whatever. They don't think about those things, but they think about the amazing buildings that are still here, the films that we have to watch, the actors.
And they know the color of a fucking stop sign and why it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that indelible mark that you and all creatives leave, that's the legacy. That's the thing that endures. But that's healthy. I mean, the way that you're looking at it is healthy. But I know this isn't Dr. Phil, but you touch on a very real subject with the realities of addiction and things like that. Those are human things, but the cool thing about it is that we can transcend from it. and what we leave behind, the movies that you have, and more importantly than that, and that's kind of the crux behind Monster Manor, is we get to the person behind what they're known for. And the thing that I know about you, just from talking to you the few times that we have, your legacy has been left in everyone that you've put a thumbprint on and allowed to find their creative side. These kids that you've taught and that sort of thing, that's never going to go away. These kids are hopefully going to keep that spirit, not have it squashed out of them, and also
and hopefully continue
yeah,
the trend. That's
yeah.
the
Yeah, so
because in the end they're gonna die too.
and
what I hope to instill is the sense of, yes, put your fucking chin up, stick your chest out, roll your shoulders, because you're a bad motherfucker.
And shoot, if we are still here today, after what most of us have gone through, and everyone has had their challenges, if we're still standing today, we have accomplished something.
Every day.
So I know that, boy, this is getting deep for Monster Manor, but we kind of knew it was going to go there.
That's the fucking problem.
Yeah, someone needs to hear this though. And that's the cool thing, is that we have a broad audience. We have all ages watch our show, from younger kids all the way up to, you know, guys like me with white hair if they have it, or gray hair, or no hair at all. But the thing is that we explore the human condition and what either brought someone to doing what they do. It just happens to be monster stuff in most cases, or musicians or artists of some kind. But this is
call us what we are. We're weirdos.
We are the weirdos.
We are the weirdos. We embrace it. I think that that's the one thing about anyone that's sensitive, and I'm going to use that carefully, but sensitive enough to get into any arts, because you have to be sensitive in the most literal translation. You have to be aware of your senses, aware of things around you, and that sort of thing.
Empathetic.
Yes, extremely. And I mean, that's probably one of the most, and you'd know better than anyone, that is probably one of the most necessary parts of being an actor or portrayer of things, is to be empathetic, to feel your character, to feel those around you, that sort of thing. No,
it's the necessary thing. I play bastards. I play people that in my life, in my waking life, I would look forward to putting into a carpet and leaving them in a forest. I don't know if I can say such things, but
now we talk about the ham suit. Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I play these people that are so antithetical to who I am in my waking life.
Yeah.
But like the story before, that was Dustin Hoffman, by the way. He's a Jew. The story before about playing, you know, the young actor playing that guy. That was Hoffman. So knowing, you know what I mean? Yeah. Knowing the history and all that behind it. But like, and that's the thing about guys like Danny Trejo. And, you know, he's such a gem, because he did come from such a place where he was not supposed to succeed in any fathomable place.
Right.
He had a good family, but the area, you know, like the life, he was not supposed to fucking succeed, but he did.
Yeah.
And what he's doing now, and if you've ever met him, and if you know him, you know what a fucking gem that dude is.
Yes.
You know? And I mean, he's titty high on, I'm 6 feet, but he's titty high on me, but he's about like 3 of me wide.
Yeah.
And you look them in the eye and you instantly, your things go up into your throat and you're just like, oh shit, I should not have said that.
Yeah. No.
And that's what I'm saying, dude. I know how to shoot. I know how to fight. I know how to scare the fuck out of grown ass people. And I looked this man in the eye and my shit went.
Well, he's the real deal. He is the real deal. No matter what he does, he is the genuine article. You get what you. And I don't know if you watch this show called The Masked Singer. Have you ever seen that?
No, I don't watch TV.
Okay. I watch very few shows as far as that goes. But I'll tell you what, that one I watch every once in a while to see who shows up. Danny Trejo played one of the Masked Singers on that. And you don't know who he is. He just sings. And talk about, oh yeah, I mean, you could tell for the most part, we were like, yeah, that's Danny Trejo. However, you know, you could see his earnestness. You could see the kindness in his eyes, and that he had that same attitude that you were talking about. We only got one trip on this rock, and he was going to have as much fun as he could have.
Yeah. And that's kind of my point. You know, like I showed you earlier, you know, that's the first big, I don't know, Hollywood film that I was in. Was Badasses on the Bayou, and he fuck. All right, well, according to SAG rules, Screen Actors Guild, according to SAG rules, if there is a sound of lightning or a bolt that anybody on a set sees, production stops, period, for 1 hour, right? Until there is none other, you know. So we went outside and we shot that in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in the summertime. And if you know Louisiana at all, it's 4 o'clock on the dot. You will get fucking lightning storms.
Oh yeah.
And it's about an hour. So we went outside. And I'm smoking a cigarette, and I'm with Danny T and his fucking stunt double, and we're just looking at the storms because apparently me and him like looking at lightning storms. And he's like, "So, who are you? What's your thing?" I was like, "Hey man, I'm Rob. You know, fucking great to meet you, dude. You know, wow." Danny T was the only one I've ever met out of everybody I've met that I was starstruck at. Maybe because he was the first one, but I don't know. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, he has such a history. I even hate to miss this because we are so over our first segment, but we do have to run a quick commercial, pay some bills, and come back. But I do want to pick up with what you were talking about with Danny as well. So hang on for just 1 second. We're going to have this brief commercial break, and we'll be back more with Rob Mello.
Phantasm Orlando returns to the DoubleTree by Hilton at the Universal Orlando Resort on Kirkland Drive. Special guests Nick Benson, FX artist on Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Night of the Demons, and more. Felicia Rose from Sleepaway Camp, Terrifier 2, and Victor Crowley. And Shock Reel Cinema Film Festival is back and now accepting submissions. Learn more at phantasmofficial.com. Now, we'll scream you there.
Sorry about that. You muted my mic.
We're back.
We are back with Rob Mello. As you saw, we had a commercial for Phantasm, and Rob will be appearing at Phantasm this fall. You can check out phantasmofficial.com for more information about everyone that's going to be there. Thanks for sitting through the break with us, Rob. Before the break, we were talking a little bit about your first big thing with Danny Trejo. Do you think that it was because he lived through so much that he did have that depth of character and could deliver the performances that he does?
Well, fuck, how to put it? I think acting is very organic. Either, and I've asked directors that have cast me in films that how do you find that one? I mean, you watch 400 people say the same 3 sentences. How do you find that one? And of course, it's okay, male, female. You kind of narrow it down. And he said it absolutely fucking correct. Some people have it. Some people don't. Most people don't. Some people just have this ability. Excuse me. Some people have this ability to just pop, and either you got it or you don't. And you got it. So you got fucking hired, and I'm like, all right, now pay me.
Yeah.
But that's it, man. And it's not that, it's not that it's not that nobody has it. You know what I mean? It's not that it's like this once in a million kind of thing. I think, in my mind, that people's creativity gets steadily beaten out of them by the perceived need of reality. Okay, you've got a car note. You need to have a job that pays the car note. Yeah, no shit. But you can pay that car note doing what you want to do, which is entertain people and educate people. And that's what I'm kind of after in regards to how the characters that I play. I want to bring more awareness to the state of the lack of mental illness care and the stigmas that involve mental illness in this country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
And
Or am I being too base?
No. Like I said, we go in all directions with the show, and I think that what you're saying actually comes at a very poignant time. And I know people like to turn into entertainment to be entertained, but a big part of entertainment is also education. And we have been surrounded by some terrible events, of course, with the tornadoes this weekend, with certain things that happen at schools that I don't want to get into the politics on the show, but you are surrounded by those things. And a lot of those things either produce or are caused by a lack of care for mental disorders, mental health issues, that sort of thing. There's so much, and I see it in my own family. And I gotta say the VA is getting better about that with a lot of the people that have served this country. But for a long time, they were left to kind of just find their own way. And at least it seems to be changing a little bit. But there also has to be an equal amount of understanding in the world that this is a problem, and we all have a responsibility to help people through it.
We hang on. There we go. Now we're face to face. I hear a lot about when an entertainer or an athlete has a stand on something. and people say, shut the fuck up, play basketball, shut the fuck up, play football, shut the fuck up, act in a movie. You don't understand the point of art, my friend. Art is the very first thing each and every one of us does.
Mm-hmm.
We don't speak languages. We sing.
Mm-hmm.
We draw. Scribble.
Yeah.
To some
You're giving me
people.
chills. I know what you're talking about.
But it's still art.
Mm-hmm.
It's an expression of the self. So, when you tell an artist to shut the fuck up, I just have to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah. Well, again, we're going back to the same basic notion that it's the world is going to attempt to squash that creativity out of you. And is that any different? Telling someone that has a platform to at least use their First Amendment rights to tell people what they feel. You don't have to agree with it, but you have to respect it.
First Amendment be damned. It's a human right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Art is a human right. And it goes from the caves in Lascaux to Africa to Lysistrata
Mm-hmm.
to fucking Chirac, which is the same exact fucking thing. It just went from ancient Greece to modern Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Art is art. It's a reflection of you. And when the artist's job is to make you look into the mirror, especially when you want to look away. So
Yeah.
you grab that fucking face and you just hold it. And you make them look at their ugly ass self and ask them to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see it for what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, horror, I hate to say this, but horror has been responsible for bringing so many of those things to light. And people didn't even know that they were being, you know, preached to, you know? I mean, like if you think back to even something like Frankenstein, it was about acceptance. And I know that this is a stretch, but bear with me. 1931's Frankenstein with Karloff, he didn't have a single word. He emoted everything. But the point of that story was, and Mary Shelley's story, is that he was not accepted for what he was. He didn't have a voice for anything because he was a persona non grata. He was not. He was nobody.
And me, I apologize for interrupting.
Oh no, go ahead.
But the story behind the story, bear with me now. Mary, her husband, and a couple of friends had kind of a write it in a month
Mm-hmm.
competition amongst themselves. Nothing official, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they all did their thing. Hers was Frankenstein. Following what you just said, he didn't have a voice. He didn't speak a word. And she wrote about a monster, not of her own creation. You see the brilliance?
Yes.
I mean, people, Frankenstein is, you know, in the folklore, just like, you know, werewolf, Dracula, blah, 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 blah. But the genius behind fucking Frankenstein and like the backstories of so many of these stories is just like when I was a kid, there was a book called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. And fucking incredible. But it was just basically a collection of folk horror tales and things like that. But it was so fucking brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
that it's stuck with me today. You know, the thing at the foot of the bed
Yeah.
was this guy who was dared to sleep the night in a haunted mansion, which he was like, fuck it, I'm down.
Yeah.
He put a 6-shooter behind his pillow, right? And he looked at the foot of the bed,
Mm-hmm.
and there was these 2 eyes with this disfigured head. And it looked at him, and it never blinked.
Mm-hmm.
And he just started tripping and tripping and tripping, and try as he might, those eyes would not blink. He yelled, dot, 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 pulled his 6-shooter and shot his big toe off
Oh,
because it was his toes in the moonlight.
yeah.
I just, I fucking love, I love the everything about Gothic horror.
Yeah.
The architecture, the literature. I challenge anybody who is not a fan of Edgar Allan Poe. I challenge you to fucking read any of his stories.
Mm-hmm.
Read The Mask of the Red Death aloud
Yeah.
and tell me he doesn't have a mastery of that language.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
And still one of my favorites to this day is probably The Telltale Heart. You know, that was deep.
Fortunato.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was just so deep. And like you said, the mastery, and there are a few authors like that. You know, I think that was what impressed me with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And I know that she had help, but she was basically a child and a woman at the same time, which back then there was no voice for women, or very, very little voice for women. She may not have even gotten as far as she had she not been with Percy Shelley. But what an amazing tale. And you have artists like that, authors like that, that have touched us through their stories, through history. And I would even argue for people that minimize what horror is. And I don't care if you're talking about the 20s, the silent era, the 30s, the 50s, and the sci-fi, or even the modern day slashers. They're all stories that harken back to the deepest, darkest things that we're afraid of. And if we can understand that and we can conquer that fear, what could we be, you know, what could we possibly do? There's nothing that could hold us back.
We're gods.
Mm-hmm.
We would be gods.
And maybe that's why people are afraid of that.
But, I mean, dude, we are gods. We're gods that shit.
Mm. One of the best lines of any movie was from The Crow. You remember that from the 90s? Where a very similar statement to what you said, but it was when Eric Draven was talking to the cracked out mother, and he says, mother is the name of God to a small child. And I think that that's a hell of a thing to live up to, is that as parents, or anyone that has anything to do with children, they see the face of God in us. So we have a hell of a responsibility with passing that along.
Mm-hmm. We do indeed.
Mm. Mm. So that brings up a very good point, though, where we were going with this. What truly, and I know we talked about it a little bit on the phone, but what truly scares you?
People.
Mm-hmm. Not a completely irrational fear, though, is it?
You want me to reiterate, huh? Yeah, for the people. I gotcha. I've seen demons. I've seen the devil. I've seen children possessed. I've seen dolls possessed. I've seen this. Every go through in the horror genre. The one thing that scares the shit out of me is people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm a person.
Yeah.
So I can be scary as shit.
Yeah.
But the capacity of evil of people is, I mean, that's where we get our concept of evil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's our interaction with each other and doing just evil shit, just horrible shit. So
yeah. Yeah.
I've been on that kick for a couple days, man. Let's move on to like a little bit more positive shit, you know?
Yes, I hear you. So in a perfect world, because I know you're doing what you love. When it comes to art, you have to have that outlet. If you don't, it's like a fire in your belly. You know, you can't get that out of your system.
So you either
What
breathe
do
fire or
you
get indigestion.
want to do creatively, say in the next 5 years? What would you love to do if nothing, no money was no object? What would you want to do?
Finish this book. Fuck, which book? I have started, god damn, about a dozen ideas, which, I mean, if I felt like doing, easily 300,000 fucking words each. But I mean, that fucking pointless unless you finish the story. But there's kind of like Castle Rock with Stephen King. You know how there's this theoretical world, there's this universe where it's just all sorts of fucked up shit. Why would anybody want to live in fucking Castle Rock? I have no idea. But so we're working on Morgan County, Indiana. And that is the most, 123 USA Street kind of sounding name, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where I fucking live.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's take advantage of this. And that's what we've done with the Embalmers. That was piece one. Piece two is Tin Roof, which will be coming up this year. I don't want to put pressure on my love. But I wanted to continue the universe. And so I wanted to, oh God, I hate saying this. I wanted to pay homage. I wanted to pay homage to the women, a few of them, not all of them, but a few of the women that have been in my life that are just incredible, are so strong and brilliant and fucking beautiful and just, you know what I mean? And so a few of them are characters in this piece, and I started it as a screenplay, and as I'm writing, I'm like, this ain't fucking working, man. It's just, you know what I mean? There's different ways to write. Well, there's only one way to write, but there's different ways of prose, and novella is what I opted for. And I'm working on a novel, and it's called The Coven and the Corn. And I am not going to spoil a goddamn thing about it.
Oh, please don't.
But it involves some of the most influential women in my life. And if you think anything about me, think about the people that helped make me me.
Amen.
And then realize that most of them are women.
And I think I would be remiss, and I hope I'm not stepping out of bounds with this.
You're out of bounds.
you are with a pretty extraordinary woman yourself, Rebecca, who also was very instrumental in bringing in the Embalmers to the screen. Tell us a little bit about her in a nutshell. Or
What?
can you?
How the fuck? How can you encompass the world in a balloon?
That says
Yeah,
it right there.
I think that, yeah, that does say that right there. And I, oddly enough, and I think I messaged you after we talked because it clicked in my head that I knew who Rebecca Rinehart was from back when I was on Face Off. She was one of the people that followed me, and then I followed her and was watching what she was doing. Pretty extraordinary, man. And you talk about the fates that may have worked to bring you guys together. That's pretty cool.
Okay. I don't mean to take up more time than I should. I
No,
apologize.
please. I will never cut a guest off. Please feel free.
When the notion of getting together with her as a person became a reality, I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, fuck, yeah. I'm this guy, you're that girl. This is gonna be fucking amazing. And then all I wanted to do was lay in bed and watch movies.
Mm.
That's it.
Mm.
I don't want to affect the world. I don't want to, you know, I just want to be with her, right next to her.
Yeah.
If I could be a mouse in her pocket when she goes to work, I would. And I know the same. But that's personal.
Mm.
Professionally, she's the business. She's the fucking business. So on the Embalmers, when you're done shooting, you know, you chill, you have beverages and you bullshit, you know, you get lit and think about the future.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, I asked her, I was like, so, you know, what's going up next? Because I assumed foolishly that, you know, as boss ass as she laid out the Embalmers, I foolishly assumed that she had something coming up, and she didn't. She was like, fuck, dude, I got to get a straight job. I'm like, I was agog.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, okay. What ideally would you like to shoot next? And she was like, I want to shoot a fucking camp slasher. And if you know Beck, you know her. She's got fucking Jason mask, you know, tattooed on her fucking back, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I could take you on a tour of the house, but
we saw it in the Embalmers.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to see a little bit of it before the show even, and yeah, it doesn't
saw
even
her tattoo in the Embalmers.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's
What?
true. In the Embalmers, you can see her tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like, I'm just like, what? Oh, Jesus. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm getting old.
Somebody needs a tum.
So she was like, you know, I got to get a straight fucking job. And I'm like, all right, I can take the next story. So I did. And she was on this end of the table. It was really bohemian, you know, like fucking, I mean, we had fucking berets. We were naked. We were smoking cigarettes. We were drunk as fuck, high. And I wrote the next story on that end of the table while she was editing the previous on that one.
Yeah.
And I want to continue that. because the story, the scene that I wrote in the Embalmers. I did tell you that one, right? Or did you guess?
The scene. Oh no, I don't think I guessed.
What'd you guess?
Okay, let me think back here, because I would almost think, judging by what I know of you, that it was probably one that involved the girl, the young lady in that film. But I don't know, because that seemed like there was so much connection and intimacy in those scenes with her name is escaping me now. Callie.
Yeah. John.
Those seemed very personal to you, but I don't know if those were the ones that you wrote.
Nope.
I don't like that.
What do you think?
I wrote one scene. I helped write, but I didn't personally write. I wrote one scene.
Would it be a spoiler to share that with our viewers?
Nope. Come on. Date night. It was date night.
You wrote the sexy time scene?
Date night? That, okay.
Dirty bird.
The date night.
Yep.
Okay. And that featured Rebecca as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we cast before we wrote.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew who we wanted, and we knew these people personally.
Yeah.
So you can write around. So there's no stretch. It's just them being them.
That's,
you know.
Yes.
So when you see Andy Noir, Andrea Collins, being the boss bitch, with that lilt of fucking Kentucky shit kicker accent.
Yeah.
That's how she talks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you see Alice Winkler being a fucking smartass with the, that's her.
Yeah. So those were tailored for them. You knew who they were before you did that, like you said. Wow.
So I got a chance. I told Di, Rebecca's sister Diane. I told Diane back. I was like, dude, I'm a fair writer. I'm fucking good, but you know, you don't say that.
Yeah.
I'm a fair writer. Can I throw you a couple lines? And they were like, yeah, please. I was like, okay, mentally, I get to create this guy. And he is immortal. His wife tried to kill him. He survived by pulling the bell back in the 1800s. By pulling the bell, and was saved by a voodoo loa. And what have I not seen in fucking horror? Because I'm Aquarius. So I've seen, we've already gone through the list, right? I've not seen necrophilia.
Yeah.
Well, how can I make necrophilia acceptable?
Yeah.
Because it's a fucked up thing, you know.
Yes.
And so I wrote a bit of a love story because he was killed.
Yeah.
And then does not relate to the human people, you know, the alive people anymore.
Hence him sleeping on the lawn and the different comfort levels for Andy.
Right. And so it's just like they said, and I know it's fucked up.
Yeah.
But they set him up with a date with a dead chick.
Yeah.
But how I saw it and how I wrote it was we shoot it one way.
Yes.
And it's just a straight date night. And so like before this date night point, before this scene, he's this fucking. But after that, during date night, smooth as fuck. Right?
Yeah. And
And
an interesting context that you have to share with that, because if you don't see the movie, you don't know the full context. Because this is interesting, but your character has a special ability, and that feeds into that whole scene.
and that, so, well, I mean, writing it and shooting it, you got to kind of compartmentalize.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to shoot it as though we were alive and in love, and it's vision in the
Wasn't she though? I mean,
but then
in her head, she was alive, really, wasn't she?
no, she's dead as fuck, and she knows it. And that was,
I realized that, but she was aware of you, right? I mean, you were in her head.
no, I was. She's dead as fuck. Her everything that has to do with her is not coming from her. It's in my head.
Oh, okay.
So like when I dance with her, we're dancing and in love, but in reality,
Her feet are
when her feet drag,
yes.
that's oh god, that's probably, in my opinion, the best shot of the goddamn film.
Mm-hmm. With the feet dangling, yeah.
But our relationship was in my head.
Okay, so that brings up a good question. It might add more depth to everything about that movie, because you do see what brings the person to your table, basically, right? I mean, that's one of the things that I thought was fascinating, is you get to see what happens beyond the reports. I don't want to give anything away, because it was a very unique story.
It's a hell of a story.
Is that two-way? I mean, is the person that is dead, are they aware of your presence in their head, or is this you seeing third person, basically?
They can be. My ability as Psy was to be able to see what they've done in their whole life, so that I could translate or intimate, excuse me, to May what they've done, their sins, so to speak. And so then she could entomb them into this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every single atom, so long as there's an atom there, you will be fucking tortured. And when you think about it, that's pretty fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And there's actually a scene, dude. I don't know if we had this conversation. We may have. A friend of mine was dying while I was on set. Kitty cat. And she had put a picture of her. I knew motherfucker. I knew the healthcare system was not working for her. I'll leave it at that. But she wanted to live. And she was incredibly beautiful and talented and such a woman. Didn't know her biblically. Leave it at that. However, she put up on Facebook, and I don't sleep very much at all. Maybe 2-3 hours a night. It's fine. And so I got up, went out on the deck of set, to do morning phone shit, smoke cigarettes, drink coffee, blah, 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 blah. And
Yes, you do.
she put up that if you want to see me before I go, you need to do it now.
Mhm.
I immediately fucking called her. I was like, baby, I know it's fucking 2 a.m, but
Mhm.
what's going on? And she looked the way she looked, you know?
Mhm.
Eventually I did get to go see her,
Mhm.
but having known her in her prime and then having seen her uh, towards that end,
Mhm.
it fucking tripped me out. So when I put Rebecca's killer, her sister,
Mhm.
when I put her body, which is not my job, that's May's job.
Mhm.
When I put her in her body, that was legit. That was like 10 minutes after I found out about that. So all the emotion you might feel out of that performance is exactly
The real deal. Mm.
sucked.
Mm. Mm. I think that's the thing that makes you such an incredible storyteller and artist when it comes to that, is by being so transparent with your feelings, with what you've gone through and what has brought you to where you are. So,
That takes method
you know,
acting to a whole
thank
new level.
you for that transparency. Thank you for that vulnerability as an actor and as a writer, because I see that a lot in your work. And I do want to talk about another film that we talked a little bit about before the interview. We do have to come up on another break here. But when we come back, I want to talk about another equally personal film for you, if
Which
that's
we're already
okay.
at, right, an
Just
hour and
if you can
7.
hang on through the break, we'll be right back with more from Rob Mello.
And we're back.
And thank you for bearing with us through our
We
commercials.
lost Rob.
I definitely want to thank our sponsors, 3DPS being one of them. Thank you for your constant support of what we do here. Did we lose Rob?
Oh, you mean he's back.
Okay,
He's back.
we have Rob. Yeah, that was a deep. We ended the last segment on a very deep note, and that.
And then we go to tech.
And
music.
again, thank you very much for sharing that with us, because it makes that even more real. I mean, and the control and the channeling that you had with that was incredible, knowing the backstory behind it. So thank you for sharing that, first of all. Then I wanted to mention a film. It's a short that people can view, if I'm not mistaken, on YouTube. And for me, and I know it's not horror, but it shows so much of who you are, because again, it's semi autobiographical. But tell us a little bit about that one, because when I asked you what the most personal film that you ever did, that was it. So could you enlighten us a little bit on that and share with us your feelings on it?
You bastard.
You know I love you, man.
You son of a bitch. All right.
I loved it. First of all, I have to preface it by saying I loved that film. And if there was a way of me seeing more of you, I think that was it.
You know, it kind of
That was my life.
fit in the
Mhm.
horror realm because you see your monsters doing fucked up shit in in a real life circumstance,
Yeah.
not this like like
That's a
ghost
good
thing
point.
killing you.
It was very realistic in that there are monsters. I don't want to akin that to monsters in the literal sense, but that is, as a whole, as a feeling, that's still a monster in the world today, I think. But I will let you speak. Tell me your thoughts on what inspired you to make that and what it was like making that years later.
That's when I started. Well, it's called Love is Black and White. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, dear.
Yes, sir.
And you know, when you tell the truth, you kind of shiver.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm shivering like a motherfucker. Sorry. I started acting professionally, you know, with intent to be an actor. And taking classes and, you know, just taking every job that I could do, you know, I mean, even if it's for gas money and pizza or nothing, doesn't matter. Just so I could learn and understand. Because when I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I shut the fuck up and I pay attention. So everything you do, and I'm a student of psychology and people, and I watch how you stand, how you speak. You know what I mean? Like me right now, my arms are crossed, so are my legs. It doesn't mean I don't have fucking confidence. I'm just cold as shit. So, I mean, you know what I mean? There's so much to it. Anyway, sorry. Love is Black and White. I joined the Marine Corps on my 18th birthday. I signed the line on my 18th birthday because I didn't need anybody's permission. I was a grown-ass man now. And my first decision as a grown-ass man was to be a fucking Marine.
Mine was to buy a lottery.
And my dad was in the Air Force, and my grandpa was in the Navy during World War II, but my dad was not in World War II. But anyway, everybody in my life was like, what the fuck are you doing? The Marine Corps? Are you out of your fucking... Dude, you're so smart. Why would you do that? My logic was that if I'm going to join a branch of the military, I'm going to join the one where people are going to run before I get on the battlefield.
Go big or go home.
But I'm going to be prepared for the ones that fucking stay. Stone cold. So, my pop brought me out, and we love Chinese food. Oh, beef and broccoli, baby. Beef and broccoli to end the world. So he brought me out and was like, you know, look, kid, the only heroes are dead ones. So keep your fucking head down.
Don't be a hero.
And the other piece of advice was don't bring home the black chick. And which fucked me up because I was like, wait a minute. No. He voted for Shirley Chisholm. And if you know who Shirley Chisholm is, you know what's up. And if you don't, you need to go look it up.
Look it up. Yeah.
But he voted for Shirley Chisholm in Boston in the 70s and 80s, early 80s. They were doing a busing program where they would bus. Boston was very compartmentalized at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there was neighborhoods, there was Dorchester, there was Roxbury, you know, there was Southie, you know, but they would bus the kids to the schools that weren't in their neighborhood. I'll leave it at that.
Right.
And that did not sit well with the people in Boston. And so riots ensued. I mean, you know?
Yeah.
And my pop went to work early. He worked in West Roxbury, which is a predominantly black section of Boston at the time. And he was there early to walk the kids to school so that nobody would get fucked with. You know what I mean? You know, that there would be no violence. I mean,
right.
He was, I'm 6 feet. He was like tit high on me. Not that he would be able to fucking physically do anything, but the presence alone, you know what I mean?
Because that was a real fear back then.
Yeah. And I mean, he went to the various burbs, not burb, but, you know, parts of town to do the same, you know, like Southie, you know, I mean, a fucking boatload of cousins in the Southie. And he said that to me. I'm like, but I know this about you. So, I mean, that kind of tripped me the fuck out. So I got thinking about it. And I'm like, okay, there's a notion of not being prejudiced. But then there's a notion of this is my bloodline. So that fucked me up. And then what did I do when I got to North Carolina? I promptly found the most beautiful, brilliant, fucking dark-skinned, chocolate ass woman, and promptly fell in love. Never touched her. No, we never did it. Well, we smooched. I will. And we had that conversation. Because yes, her lips were fucking silk. But when my brother died, I had to go home, and this is before cell phones. And I gave her my number and was like, well, the house number. And I was like, dude, you know, give me a ring. I'm going to be there for about a week or so, you know, until we bury him. And I never got a call. And I just fucking forgot about her because, you know, I had my own shit going on. You know, I'm burying my fucking brother.
Yeah.
Love wasn't on, you know, the to-do list.
Right.
And a couple years later, I'm working at a fucking Applebee's. And in the middle of a fucking double, who pops out to finish her paperwork? Deja. So I struck up a conversation because, of course, she was so beautiful, and of course, she was so incredible. And I was just like, "What the fuck, dude? You know, I thought you were into me. You know, I mean, it's 5 years removed. It's not that big a deal. I just, you know, out of curiosity." And she's like, "Dude, I fucking called.
Yeah.
And I fucking talked to your pop, and like, we were cool until he realized I was black."
Yeah.
And then it went. And in my mind, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Not my old man.
Mhm.
It's like the TikTok guy.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake,
Yeah.
get the fuck
Right. And I'm like, that's not fucking possible. And while we were shooting, Sean Gloria, who incredible fucking actor, if you don't know, he portrayed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
He actually, funny story, he actually took up smoking to fucking try and portray me correctly.
Oh my God.
I know, right? That's fucked up.
It was amazing though. I mean, and I said this before we started taping tonight, his portrayal was spot on. And I noticed you were in the background a lot. Yep. Yeah. In the party scene, especially. You see you in the background. Was it ever thought that you should play that character, or was it too close to you?
No. Nope.
Hmm.
Nope. That's the thing. I don't want to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I never did.
Ironic, huh?
You know what's funny is every musician I know wanted to be an actor, and every actor I know wanted to be a musician.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I so want to be the front man of a fucking rock band.
Yeah.
Won't happen, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But LBW, I remember I had a house that I rented in Tampa, and it used to be a duplex, but they knocked down the middle wall, so it was this big ass U house, right? And that's where we shot. And pretty much most of it. You know, all the interior shots.
Yes.
And shit. Yeah. And the fireplace, all that shit. We shot that at my house. And there was just such I got all those people together at once and stood up on my back porch and was like, look, I told them the story. And I was like, thank you for coming, but this is the story. This is what we're trying to portray, and this is why we're here. And they were on it.
Yeah.
So my Florida peeps fucking, and it's not just Florida, it's New Orleans, it's Atlanta, Kentucky, fucking Indiana, Illinois. I mean, there's so many actors that are just so incredible. Excuse me. So incredibly talented. And underappreciated and underpaid. But god damn. What a story.
I know. It was so authentic and raw. And what was like 23 minutes or something like that? It wasn't like
ish
crazy long.
No.
But you saw a lifetime in that story. And that is filmmaking. I don't care if it's horror or romance or comedy. When you can tell a story like you did, man, you got it. You got a talent. You got an amazing talent. And I can't wait.
Now I got to go rewatch the damn thing that I made.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you made me snort, you dirty bastard.
Well, that
you didn't make them for it.
That is when I knew that I liked you, man, because that story, anyone that could tell a story like that and bring chill bumps to my arm, that was just amazing. So again, thank you for the authenticity, for the honesty in your storytelling, because it's unbelievable.
It happened.
Yes. But definitely, if you're watching this show, check it out. It's on YouTube, free to watch. I can almost guarantee it's going to bring a tear to your eye. It was really, really that good. Unless you're a schmuck. But we don't have any schmucks watching this show. But so I know we are well over time, and I apologize for that, Rob. I hope you don't mind sticking
I am
around.
here all night. We could talk all night.
Yeah, but
You got editing to do.
yeah.
Not editing, but we have a TikTok at 11.
Yeah, we do our after show on TikTok, so we'll be over there
Are you
for
on
another
TikTok?
probably hour
Yeah, we're
chatting
on
with
TikTok.
people.
Under what name?
Monster Manor. Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna be
Find
logging
you.
in. Yeah, we're Monster Manor 1313 across most social media boards. So we'll be on there just chatting it up and talking more with fans. We talk a little bit about everything when we're on our TikTok. But you know, I love doing this show because we get to see what we expect is going to be a horror podcast. And we do focus on a lot of the horror actors and creators and creatives behind the scenes. But this is what I'm talking about. What makes our show different is being able to talk with people like you and find out what goes behind the scenes, what makes you who you are. And I absolutely adore you, man. I thank you for, like I said, the honesty and the openness with your stories. And I hope that isn't going to be the end for a long time, because I absolutely look forward to what you both individually, you, and what you and Rebecca accomplished, because I know firsthand when you have someone that is your advocate and that will push you to be better at what you do, and that you can have that relationship to push them to be better at what they do, that's an unstoppable team. And you guys have the makings of that for sure.
We do. I just, here's the thing is, and I won't speak for her, of course, but kinda. I don't want to do shit but be with her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck about making movies. I don't give a fuck about writing. I don't give a fuck about anything. I just want to be next to her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And I'm happier that.
Yeah.
I don't know what
You
that
can be
means
each other's
for
muse.
everybody.
And
So
yeah, I can get behind that because I have a similar relationship with my bride. She is my right hand in the sculpting business and helps me
I'm not
continually.
Your right hand,
You're my left hand because you're a left-handed chick, but you know, I know what that means in your professional life, and you just want to be with that person, and you could be doing the most mundane thing, and it's better because you're with them. You know, I can relate.
except for silverware.
in the body?
I don't like fucking washing silverware or sorting socks.
Yes.
Everything else in the world I can do. I will absolutely sort out body parts. I will do fucking anything but wash silverware and sort socks.
Yes. So before you lose your battery, because I remember we were saying that you were getting low on battery before we even started. What's next for you, man? What's coming up the rest of this year for you that you can talk about?
I've got a... I don't know if I can talk about it. Fuck it. They can sue me all they want. I play a sort of fellow. No, I play the All-American Dad in it's a skim. I don't know. You've been to the beach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when kids used to throw the little the bodyboards in the surf?
Oh, hell yeah.
The surf line? Well, that's the skim, right?
Yeah.
And now, apparently, that's a fucking sport.
Yeah, skimboarding.
So skimmer. And it I play I play a certain sort of fellow named Ghost. And they're still filming in Florida, St. Pete area, I believe, still. And great up-and-coming filmmaker, Jaden Fitzpatrick. And his daddy was Jimmy Fitzpatrick. His mom, fantastic woman. Don't read too much into that. But Jimmy Fitzpatrick played. He's an incredible fucking talent. And he's not feeling too well as of late. I'll leave it at that. But Jaden is something to look forward to, because he's got it. And I've seen it, and I've not seen it.
Yeah,
He's got it. So look forward to that.
Definitely. Keep us posted on that. That sounds intriguing.
And we've got Tin Roof coming out, and I wrote it. That was the slasher that Beck always wanted to direct, and she got to.
Awesome.
And we're in post, but we're working on, the tens of millions of little pieces to make it, because that's hers. That's her baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I won't. That's arrogant to say. I was gonna say that I won't let her, but that's arrogant as fuck. She's gonna release it when it's ready for you to watch.
Right.
And it'll be fucking perfect.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. And you're going to be back down this way to the Central Florida area in September. We're going to get to meet face to face for Phantasm. You're going to be appearing there as a special guest.
What's up?
Yeah.
Are you into karaoke, by the way?
I've been known, yes.
Oh no. Shit. I'm going to start saving bail money then.
Oh, geez.
Take up a collection.
Yes. Because we're artists here. We got no bail money.
No.
That's why most people are safe from us.
we depend on, the charitable contributions of the concerned public.
Yes.
You made me snot twice in one time, you dirty bastard.
But yeah, I have a feeling that that's going to be a hot show for us, man. We'll see.
You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, TR, Tin Roof, TR, there was getting together with her is, if you know anything about her, and like you with art, it's like the Encyclopedia fucking Britannica is just, you just know.
Yes.
And so, like, having to write the script, I'm like, okay, so I got this great idea and I'm pitching it. And 20 minutes later, like, her smile goes from this to like the Grinch, like, up by her fucking ears. And I finish my shit and I'm just like, what do you think? And she's like, I fucking love it. I'm like, oh, nice. Let me get cracking on, typing. And she's like, you just described Friday the 13th, the entire fucking thing. And I'm just like, okay, back to the drawing board. And, so, I mean, there was a lot of tropes and shit that we just ain't happening. So when you hear the reviews of new films, things like that, typical is a word that I fucking detest. If I see that, I'm not going near it.
Yes.
This is what you would expect from a typical camp slasher. No.
Yeah.
This is everything that you would not expect from a camp slasher. You know what I mean?
You have me intrigued, my friend.
No Kevin Bacon.
I can't. No Kevin Bacon, correct?
You're anti-Kevin Bacon this week.
No, we couldn't afford him. Shit.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
could
he's
bring-
beyond his Friday
we
the 13th.
can't afford what we've already got. So
Yes. But and I'm going to brag on you because I even had to double check because this is deep, but it goes with exactly what you were saying. You hate the typical, you hate being compared, and this is a quote I want to leave people with today. And if you could give us like a brief, idea behind this, but I love this quote from you. I don't want to be as good as Penn, Oldman, or Bale. Just as I wouldn't want my sons to be as good as Hendrix, Flea, or Beethoven, nor my daughters to be as good as Steinem, Roosevelt, or Monroe. The truest mark of brilliance is innovation, not imitation. Be yourself and trust in the genius that solely resides within you. Where does that come from, and what was the thought behind that, my friend?
Stop breaking that dude.
Did I break?
The notion, can you hear me?
Yes.
The notion that I'm going to die and I might not get to tell any of my children how fucking incredible they are.
Mm. Yes. Dude, I could feel that through the words. And I think that's what makes me love you more, because of that kind of thought up here. And
I want to say it before I can't, and so that they'll be able to hear it if they want or not. I don't care. I just want them to know.
They will
at the everybody right to know.
They will at the right time. I promise you. And as parent, you can't pick the time, but again, it's the legacy that you leave, and it's here on your IMDb page, and it's here on shows like this.
Oh, it is? Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's on your IMDb page under the quotes. That's where I saw it, and it hit me. I'm not your kid,
Somebody else thought
but
it
I'm
was
a fellow
poignant
creative,
because it
and
made
that
it there.
stabbed me in the heart. And I love you for it, brother. I love you for it, brother.
Yep. Because you smell what I'm stepping in, right?
Oh, yeah.
Picking up what you're putting
It's
down.
all over my house, man.
Right? Right fucking behind you. It just... Look.
Yeah.
Instead of fucking drums, just waiting to be banged.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not at fucking 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
She might get pissed off.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
If you saw my kids' art, and they're all fucking artists in their own ways.
Mm-hmm.
I got a daughter that's a fucking grease monkey. She's a mechanic.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I've got
That's amazing.
I've got a son who just is incredible with paint and bass and fucking guitar, and oh man, I've just got incredible fucking kids.
Yeah.
And they're so incredible, and I understand how squishy fucking creatives can be, because I'm one of them.
Yes.
Because if someone had said, going into college 10 years removed from ever being in school, and I fucking hated school.
Yeah.
Going in, if somebody had said, what are you doing here? Or anything negative, I'd have been like, out, peace. And my life would be totally different.
Yeah.
That's the same with any bit of fucking creativity. That's why you have to foster them. You have to have their back, because they will guide us. They always have. You just don't realize it because you're not one of them.
Yes.
Because somebody beat it out of you. I'm sorry for that, but A stop sign is red for a reason. It's a fucking hexagon for a reason. Your house looks the way it does because of a creative.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, the fucking star-spangled fucking banner looks the way it does for a fucking reason because a creative made it.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Foster them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to rant.
I totally get it, and I think we can't say that enough. We can't say that enough, is to foster. You don't have to understand that. And I'm going to talk to the parents out there, because I had a mother who supported me, didn't understand me. And we were talking about this when we talked on the phone. Had a father that was,
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Had a father that was very whimsical. He was an artist, but he was a frustrated artist because he was working as a sales manager. He started as a grease monkey as well. So the thing is that they didn't have to understand us. Our parents didn't have to understand us to support us. And that's the thing that I can say. Even if you're not an artist, try to look at your kids in different eyes and at least support the creativity that they are trying to put out there, because that's them. That's them.
If they're into the tuba this week, but in 2 weeks later, after you spend $400, for tuba stuff, if they're into paint and they need paint, buy them the fucking paint. Put yourself in debt. I don't give a shit. Put yourself in debt, because what are you gonna say?
That could go on a t-shirt, man. Buy them the fucking paint, because they're not going to get it in school. And it's up to us, man. It's up to us.
Sadly.
Rent the tuba, by the
Do you want me to roll on that the Axel F story, or?
You know what? Let's go. Let's go. We have time. If you have time, we'll fix it in editing. We'll have a special 2-hour episode. I'm never going to cut you off, man, because I'm fascinated by every word.
Okay, well, you have an hour. You're at an hour and 40 minutes, and I got to pee.
So, to recap, which a story you've already heard.
Mm-hmm.
In the 80s, there was a film, Beverly Hills Cop, and there was a goddamn 6-minute-ish instrumental, Axel F.
Everyone knows it. Yes.
Everybody fucking knows it, right? So I had the little piano keyboard synthesizer thing.
I had one of the Casio databanks, not the databanks, the Casio keyboards. Yeah, the same.
Was it pink or silver? Because they came in 2 colors. That's pretty much
it. It was like a gunmetal and a silver. Yes,
that was mine.
Yeah, we were in the 80s, man. You had to have
that
one.
Thrice. You've made me snort thrice. You dirty bastard. So, my brother had a boombox, 80s boombox, I got 5%. All right, I got to make this quick. He had one of these big ass 80s boomboxes. Yes. I plopped in and queued up Axel F. Called my mom in, and totally, I wasn't playing it. I was performing.
Yes.
And she acted like she sat through 6 minutes of me doing this as a kid. And when I was done, you would swear she just saw fucking Beethoven, John Lennon, and Bob Marley have an orgasm all at once or something. You know what I mean?
That's a mental picture.
She fucking, she lost shit. And I was just like, that's what you need to do. You need to do what my ma did.
Mm-hmm.
Have their back.
Absolutely.
Even if it's just for it's the most insignificant thing, and you've got 10 million of other fucking things going on at the moment because you're a mom. I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's always that one thing. And she doesn't, well, she's dead, but she didn't remember when I brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you remember that, Ma? And she's like, no, I do.
That's because they're just being them. But if it weren't for that support, half of the people out there may not do what they're doing. So,
And you wouldn't know my name.
Thanks, Mrs. Mello. But
Thank you for that.
thank you so much for being on our show, for the realness. I'm sure we're going to talk again in the future, and I can't wait to meet you in person and give you a squeeze out at Fantasm. But Rob, it has been a complete delight having you on the show. I could do this all day, like Captain America says. It's just awesome. And thank you for sharing yourself and little glimpses into your family. Thank you so much, man.
I love you too.
Love you, brother. We will see you soon. And
soon enough.
Yes. Yes. And give Rebecca a squeeze for me as well. You guys are awesome.
When I'm done with the cigarette, that's exactly where I'm going.
All right, brother. Well, thank you, Rob Mello. Please go check out again on YouTube. Check out his IMDb page. There are a couple of things that need to be corrected, but you know how hard it is to change things on there. But look at his body of work, guys, and check out Love Is Black and White. I think you'll love it as much as I did. Not typical horror, but amazing. It will touch your heart. And then, of course, Embalmers. He's been on a lot. Again, check out the IMDb. And check out Fantasm in the fall. Fantasm in September. He'll be there along with a bunch of other great creatives and actors. They are having I don't want to say a mini reunion because it's a lot. It's a lot of people. And if you go to phantasmofficial.com, it will show you the reunion that they've put together for Night of the Demons, including a buddy of mine who was on last season, Nick Benson. Or at the beginning of the season. So yeah, it's a cool lineup, and Rob's going to be there as well. Linnea Quigley, the list goes on and on. So check that out. In fact, let's run the commercial one more time because I know we were a little bit behind in our commercials. So we'll see this together, and then we'll be back with the rest of the announcements.
Phantasm Orlando returns to the DoubleTree by Hilton at Universal Studios on Kirkman Road in Orlando with a very special Night of the Demons reunion featuring legendary scream queen Linnea Quigley and Allison Barron with special effects master Nick Benson. Also featuring Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp and Victor Crowley and Rob Mello from the Happy Death Day series. Submit your entries now for the Shockwheel Cinema Film Festival exclusively at Fantasm. And Monster Manor is back once again to cover your horror favorites at the event. That's Fantasm Orlando, September 15th through 17th. Visit phantasmofficial.com for more details, VIP ticket packages, and more. We'll screen you there.
So yes, see us at Fantasm. Come for the fun, stay for the horror. It's going to be really good, and this is the 4th year. Let's support this great show in Central Florida. So yeah, I'm at a bit of a disadvantage because Boris is not here tonight. If you've been waiting for him, I do apologize. Boris got held up in the Bermuda Triangle. Something happened. I don't know. He was there on a singles cruise with the Master. He did send me this picture, however. So he is having fun. I don't know what the holdup is, but he promises he'll be back very soon. But yeah, sitting on the beach with his wonderful cruise ship in the back. I don't know. He's having way too much fun. But anyway, yes, Boris will be back, but you're stuck with me doing the announcements for the night. Boris, come back to us. I hope you're not lost in there, with Uncle Fester or something. But next weekend, for those that are local in the Orlando area, want to remind you, Olo is coming up next Saturday. It's a one-day show, toy and collectible comic convention. I don't think we ran their commercial, so we want to show that real quick. I'm sorry, we're kind of out of order with this, but you don't cut a man like Rob out. He has so many cool stories. So hang on, I will show you this commercial. We were just going to show a place card, but let's do the commercial for Olo. Orlando Collectors Deviants proudly presents Olo Comic and Toy Show, returning to the Rosen Plaza Hotel April 8th, 2023. Special guests to include It's All Geek to Me, Jay Bauer Art, Silverline Comics creator Roland Mann, Ron Baxley Jr., and actor and stunt performer Martin Kleba as seen in the Pirates of the Caribbean, and of course, vendors. And Monster Manor TV is back as official podcast of the Olo Comic and Toy Show for the 3rd year running. That's Saturday, April 8th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Admission is only $8 for adults, and kids are always free. Check olocomicandtoyshow.com for more info. So see, I couldn't have said it better myself. In fact, I did. So I just let you see that. What else do we have? Tingler Television. We are now on Roku. As you might know, back in August, Monster Manor started broadcasting on Tingler Television, and since then we went from the website viewing through Stream to now Roku. So you can check out our Roku programming. There's a complete list at www.tinglertelevision.com. The schedule of events and when people are going to be on, because there's a lot of cool programming on that station, and now our Roku viewers can watch us right on that, Mondays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 5 p.m. So Eastern, of course. So check us out, and check out the other programming, because it's pretty darn cool. In fact, if you are a subscriber or pick up issues of Scary Monsters magazine, we're on the inside front cover. So you open it up and it shows, I think 6 of us are in there featured. So check us out. Check out the times. It's right there, and it's got all of our information. Phantasm, again, we wanted to remind you, September 15th through 17th this year at the Doubletree right across the street from Universal Studios. Again, we're going to have a lot of the guests that are going to be appearing there on our show. Check out our Etsy and our Redbubble shops if you can. You can get all sorts of cool stuff like official merchandise, mugs, t-shirts, you name it, it's there. And then on our Etsy page, we also have a bunch of original art items, ornaments, magnets, all sorts of stuff like that that won't break the bank, but it helps to support this show. Little things like that. Everything helps, as well as like our Patreon. There are many ways to support us. But if you dig what we do and you dig the programming that we're bringing you, not to sound like a PBS ad, that's the way we'd love for you to support us. And I'm out of coffee, so I'm coughing a little bit. I'm sorry about that. In wrap up, make sure you subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. That way you will be notified when we do new broadcasts. And we're adding new content to the YouTube page all the time. So please check us out there. TikTok tonight, right after the show. And if you are watching us in playback on Tingler Television, check us out at Monster Manor 1313 on TikTok while it's hot. We do lives there. We have exclusive content for our subscribers and everything. So check us out there. Until next time, we thank you for joining us. Thank you again to our very special guest, Rob Mello. I love you, brother. And have a good night. And the rest of the weekend is yours. We'll see you next time on Monster Manor TV.
You have created a monster and it will destroy you.
She's alive! Alive!
I am Dracula.